Hey friends, it's Mike here at Guitar Tricks, back with part 4 in our 5-part series for a practice routine, 5 days of practice. I hope you found it useful and gotten some good ideas to sharpen those skills and add in some effective practice exercises. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. And while you're at it, hit that like button. It would really help out. Now, back to the lesson. All right, so as always, the first 5 minutes is going to be a chromatic warm-up exercise. And what we're going to do is sort of combine the first 2 days into one exercise. So we're going to start with 5, 6, 7, and 8, the frets on the low string with each finger, picking down, up, but then we're going to shift up 1 fret and do the pinky on the 9th fret, ring finger on the 8th fret, middle finger on the 7th fret, index finger on the 6th fret, and pick that backwards. Down, up. So it's going to look like this. We're going to do that on each string, so it's going to be like this. Okay, so a little more of a complexity there because you're going to be shifting up and then down 1 fret as you go through all the strings. So once again, 5 minutes getting those fingers moving, really great warm-up. All right, the next 10-minute segment is going to be a chord progression practice, and we're going to pick a key like the key of G, and I'm going to do a 1, 5, 6, 4 chord progression. And so what that means is that in the case of the key of G, the 1 chord would be G. So I'm going to use a G major bar chord with the root on the low string. The 5 chord in the key of G is D. So D major. I'm going to use this bar chord shape with the root on the A string, 5th position. The 6 chord is a minor chord in the key of G, and that's E minor. So I can move up 2 frets and play a minor bar chord shape with the root on the 5th string. And then the 4 chord in the key of G is C major, 3rd fret major bar chord, root on the 5th string. I'm going to play all downstrokes and work on getting nice solid timing and nice smooth chord changes. You want to work on this for 10 minutes. You want to loop that chord progression. And the key element here is you want to go slow enough that every chord change is nice and smooth and that your strumming is nice, relaxed, solid timing. Okay? If you're trying to go too fast and stumbling around it a little bit, that's not going to help you. So just slow it way down. It's better to have lots of repetition at slow speeds and then just gradually work your way up to a faster speed. All right, the next 10-minute chunk is going to be an ear training exercise. So I'm going to take a C major scale. Okay, in this case, I took the C major scale in the 5th position where the root is on your pinky, 8th fret of the low string. And this is going to be handy because I'm going to go through each note in the scale and compare the sound of it to the root. So for example, I'm going to play the root and then the 2nd note in the scale. And listen to both of those. Like that. Let it ring out. And I'm going to say aloud what that interval is. And in this case, it's a major 2nd interval apart. Okay? Just going to try and focus my ear onto the sound of that. All right, then I'm going to move to the next note in the scale. So the next note is the 3rd, specifically the major 3rd. So if I play those 2 notes together, that's a major 3rd interval. Very intentional about just trying to recognize that with your ear. All right, keep going. What's the next note in the scale? The 4th, the perfect 4th. Play them together. Perfect 4th. All right. right, you can keep going all through the scale, the perfect fifth, the major sixth, the major seventh, and then the octave. Okay, great way to just wrap your ear around the sound of the notes in the scale in relation to the root, which is very valuable stuff. All right, for our final 5 minutes of our practice session, we're going to strum through a little bit of a blues. I'm going to use 7th chord shapes. I'm going to play a blues in A and just strum between the chords with a shuffle strum. So my upstroke in between the downstrokes is going to be a little bit closer to the downstroke. So instead of down, up, down, up, down, up, I'm going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And it gives it that bouncy, kind of shuffly feel that is very bluesy sounding. And of course, you can work with a backing track here, something like the Jam Station in Guitar Tricks. You can work with a metronome, but start with an A7 bar chord, go 4 bars, and then go to a D7 bar chord, back to the A7, and then of course the 5 chord is going to be an E7. And play a 12-bar blues with that strum. Okay, great way to just warm down that last 5 minutes of the practice routine. What other tips would you like to see here on this channel? Please leave a comment and let me know. And be sure to check out guitartricks.com for more in-depth, step-by-step lessons. All right, we're going to see you on day 5.